Hello, everyone. You're welcome to Easy Forest Chart Analysis. Today is a very wonderful day, which I've decided to record one of these sessions for you for your learning. All right. So, today we are going to look at some chart analysis all together, and we are also going to learn about fair value gaps. All right. So it's a two-in-one video for you, and I'm hoping that you will stay tuned and continue to enjoy the video whilst you are incorporating whatever you are learning into your trading strategy. Okay, so straight into the video. First of all, we start with market analysis, top down, and possible points of interest where we can look to trade from even on this day's trading day. So what actually is happening is that today is 29th of July 2024, and it's around 10:51 p.m. right here, almost about 11. So today's trading session is going to end in maybe an hour and some few like 10 minutes time. So straight into the video, beginning from vix25 daily time frame. This is the data that we have available. And from this data, we can start marking our zones and areas or market structure to know which particular direction we are supposed to take our trades. So if you're a price action trader, then you are most likely to see this trend line here that has been broken on the daily time frame, and current price action is respecting this support trend line to the upside. So if you are a price action trader, strict price action trader, that is what you are seeing right now, or that is what you may be seeing right now, incorporating your trend line into your chart analysis. Okay. So what if you are not a pure price action trader, but you are an SMC or ICT trader? Then you are also likely going to see what I'm about to show you. All right. So this was our low, and this is the high that broke that low. All right. So we can call this chalk, change of character, on our daily time frame. What it means is that from here to the upside, we were bullish, and price have taken the low with the candle's body, proving to us its bearish intent. All right. So right after this high was able to take this low, price started retracing for internal liquidity, which price didn't really have much except for these gaps that were left behind that price had to refill. All right. So we had this gap here, these gaps here as well, which price did justice to when it was going up. So all these ones were filled. And whilst it was going up, you could see that from here, price started galloping and leaving spaces behind. So price came back to rebalance that area as well and swept some trendline liquidity right here. Swept some trendline liquidity right here at these lows and filled imbalance here. And right from here, we can see price is sort moving to the upside. So now, What I'm thinking right now is, let me clean up the chart a bit. Good. What I'm thinking right now is some people will mark this area as what? A liquidity sweep and a market structure shift here. So the last up close candle here will be marked as what? A point of interest where they will be willing to sell from, which is not bad. So you can call this a decisional POI because it has what? This liquidity that was resting before it. And we have this imbalance here to the left side as well. So if you mark this area as your POI, you are not wrong. Okay. But much more importantly, of the conviction that price may want to retest this block, order block right here, and perhaps target this. This is the way I'm thinking. Target this as liquidity, all right, for this POI. Price is most likely to use this as liquidity for this POI. Why? Because from here, as price was pushing down, it failed to take out this low. And once this low has been intact, it means that the bullishness is still intact. And this high is a weak high because it failed to take out this strong low, structural low. All right. So we are most likely to see price violate this strongly with a candle, or price may just come there, give you some kind of a range, build some liquidity, break that to the upside before we see price dropping to the downside from here. So we keep watching to see what price will do. But if I want to trade, I'd rather be looking for buys towards this area and not sell from this area, even though it looks attractive, but it's not valid. All right. Yes, it had a market structure shift at the bottom here. Let me do that annotation. And there was a liquidity sweep here. But since it failed to take out this low, but rather build some more liquidity in the form of equal lows, relative equal lows, I think price may come back to sweep that later and target this low. And actually, we even swept the low here before we went up. Okay. So that is it. So I'm bullish towards this area at the upside here. At the upside here. And we could see that as price is going up, it's building some trend line liquidity. This trend line liquidity to the upside, which looks very steep. So that is what I'm thinking on this asset. vix25, 24-hour time frame. So bullish. Let me go to my 1 hour. And we can see our 1 hour is buying nicely. Is buying nicely. Is buying nicely. We have a break of structure here. After price swept this low. And price retraced a bit. Don't know whether it came into the 50% or it couldn't, but I'm not sure it did. Let me check. using my gun box from this high to this low that led to the breakout structure here. Okay, so price came below the 50% and or 0.5%, swept this liquidity and used swept that liquidity and used this candle as another block, which actually it was, and started pushing to the upside. And price as is going has this target in mind as a draw on liquidity. As a draw on liquidity. And looking back, we can see this gap here, which price created, came back to fill a portion of it, but not all of it. So we still have some part of the gap not filled. So if price decides to even return from where it is, because this is a rejection block, this candle with a long wick to the upside is a rejection block. If price decides to reverse from here, then it may be coming into this gap here or even this tiny one here can also serve as magnets that can attract price to the downside. So if you want to join this trade, then it is possible. It's better to wait for price to pull back either here or there, and then you can take your trade to the upside and target these highs right here. So that is something that can be done, but price may also continue from here to sweep the high and not feel this imbalance at the bottom here. So that is something to consider. And when we look here, we had a fair value gap here, which price used as an inversion to support price. That is why we are seeing that current up move. And this gap seems to be left behind unfilled, and that is likely to be a breakaway gap. All right. So if price decides not to trade below this zone, then it's going here. And that is because of this fair value gap here that price violated, retested that as an inversion fair value gap. IFVG. Let me put it at the right side. Inversion fair value gap. So price may be targeting this high. All right. Yeah. So I'm bullish on vix25 till we hit that zone at the top here. So even if you take your buy from here, you can target this area. Maybe you can take a buy here. If you want to be safe, so that in case price decides to revisit all these gaps here, then you can put your stop loss here and go for this, which will give you about 2.5 risk to reward, which is not bad. But what it means is that your stop loss will be huge. So you have to reduce your lot size in order to be able to hold the drawdown in case price decides to pull back down before shooting up. All right, but it will be more ideal to wait for price to rather drop a bit so that you can reduce your stop loss and then you target this area. So that is vix25 for us. Vix25 for us. Let me go to vix50. And vix50 has been, so we are most likely to have two sessions of this video. All right, so vix50 has been bullish. Why? Price gave us a break of structure here. This was the low, the last low, and this was our recent high, which serves as our draw on liquidity. That is a magnet because we are bullish. Price must sweep that high or may likely sweep that high. So from this low, we had this high breaking this high, and price retraced a bit, pull back within the range. So all this one you are seeing here was just a retracement phase, and price came into what? Found a bullish order block somewhere here, and after it hit the order block, price moved away. All right. So this was a liquidity sweep. The lows were swept here, and price gave us what? A market structure shift after breaking this high. So we had a change of character, if you wish. Put it at the top center. Good. And price just went away. So currently price seems to be retracing, and I would love to see price retrace below the 50% of the range. And what we find in line there is this fair value gap that is here. And we have this breaker block in line with that. Yeah. Which I'm going to delete anyway. So I want to keep the chart clean. So price may be reversing into this zone before. And right below that zone, we have this two down close candles as our order block. So let me mark the two down close candles. That area as our order block, and then expect price to drop and give us that push to the upside. All right. So this is my expectation. So you can decide to wait for this long, or you can decide to join the sell that is coming down. And if you want to join the sell, you can join from here by doing this analysis. We have this liquidity that price has broken. And some people will mark this up close candle before that as a very shorter block, which is not wrong. So this is what is causing the reversal or the retracement into this zone, and price will eventually have to violate this area and break the high and continue to the upside. All right, so this was liquidity, which price has swept, tapped into the order block, and price is giving us a retracement. So if you want to join the sell, you can use this last up close candle as your order block, wait for price to retrace into it, and then you join the sell to the downside. And join the sell to the downside, yeah. So that is it. Let me take a screenshot and then save this as my vix50 daily chart for reference at later times. So that is the 24-hour for us. So maybe going down to our 4-hour. So we have this, like I said, let me delete this. We have price sweep this side. It doesn't look very obvious, but there was a sweep there. And after sweeping that high, we had a market structure shift to the downside. And price has all of these imbalance right here at the top, which I believe if we want to sell, we have to wait for price to really get back in there. to fill that up inside of that other block. And price has engineered some liquidity here. Which I believe price is going to sweep up and then drop to the downside. Yeah. And drop to the downside. So you can sell from here. Stop loss above the range. Your target is this order block, which you are expecting price to retrace into. But of course, you don't take trace on the 4 hour, so you may have to do some confirmation entry once price gets into this zone here on a lower time frame, whether your 1 hour, your 15 minutes, or even your 5 minutes. All right. Great. So that is vix50 for us as well. I couldn't take you to the daily weekly time frame, which would have been the best. But there was something nice on the weekly time frame. Let me see if I can take you there. And we see. So like you can't find the weekly time frame on TradingView on the web platform except on MT5. So I have MT5 installed on my PC, and that is what I'm going to use right now to check the weekly time frame or do the weekly time frame analysis on the web. So let me share my screen. And let's see. Great. So on vix50, why is my vix50? Okay, that was the vix50. On vix50, let me remove all these period separators. On vix50 weekly, let me just get a new chart on vix50 so that I don't disturb this analysis. Great, 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 great. Um, So on the vix50 weekly time frame, I just want to show you something very, very critical. This was where we saw the break of structure here on the weekly time frame. All right. And the other block responsible is this last down close candle here, which after the break of structure, price retraced into 8. And then we are seeing that push to the upside. So currently price has hit this very shorter block and giving us a rejection candle, which is a rejection block. And we seem to be moving to the downside. Why? Because we have this weekly fair value gap here, which price will have to fill before buying up. That is why I said price will have to retrace into below the 50% range what on the daily time frame as I showed you earlier, and continue buying, all right, below this area before it continues buying. So this is what I saw, and I said, chai, this looks so good. This looks so good. So this is vix50 for us, and I think that would be 8. That would be 8. So what next? I saw something nice on vix10. So on vix10, this is our monthly time frame, and it looks quite interesting. It looks quite interesting because we had a market structure shift right here on the daily, on the monthly time frame. And right after that, price engineered this liquidity above this order block and price came back into it. So you see that for almost 3 months now, price is giving us these indecision candles at the order block, and I foresee price what continuing up and even breaking this high if price wants to go bullish again. But price may have to deal with this fair value gap here first. It may have to violate it first before we see that strong push to the upside. So price may be struggling a bit within this fair value gap, but eventually if it finally breaks it, it may retest it as an inversion and continue pushing to the upside. So going down to our weekly time frame, we can see that already price touched into the fair value gap, and we are seeing that reaction to the downside. We still have another fair value gap here on the weekly, which price may target to refill and use that as a support to continue pushing to the upside. Going down to our daily time frame, you can see that price is really selling. And if we are to mark the fair value gap on our weekly time frame, this is the zone price may be targeting. So this low may be swept one more time. Going back to our daily, price may have to sweep this relative equal low. This is a low, this is another low. That is a strong liquidity area which price may target. And we also have this tiny area here. So if price decides to come down more, then we will be coming into this other block. And right after price will shoot to the upside. So that is vix10 for us. That is vix10 for us. So I think I may have to do a last one and end the video. I don't want it to be too long. So I'm bullish on vix10, bullish on vix50, bullish on vix25. So that is it. This is the other block I said, let's be watching. Here we had a sweep here. We had a break of structure and even continue to break this high and giving us what? A change of character, if you like. And price seems to be retracing, and already this other block has been mitigated. And if price is coming down, maybe it's coming for this other block, this down close candle. But we have this small candle here, so I'd rather prefer using this one. And price will have to use this candles lows as liquidity. It may engineer more liquidity here, push up a bit, push down before any other thing. So we can look for sales towards the zone on our lower time frame on vix10. So maybe for our time frame. So we can see this area, people will see it as strong support. Why? From here, price bought, from here, price bought, and even broke structure to the upside. So they may be looking to buy from here again, but price may have to sweep liquidity before continuing. And besides, from this low to this high, this area is in premium and it's ideal to sell from here. And when we get into discounts that is below the 0.5, that is where we can look for buy continuation on vix10. So this is a nice area of liquidity before the zone here. And price may use that. If price decides to come down more, then we are most likely to come back into this low before continuing up. So let's see what happens even in the upcoming weeks, days, sorry. So this has been easy for us. Thank you so much. If you like the analysis, make sure you subscribe, you hit the notification button, leave a comment behind, and ask a question or anything, and I'm going to explain to you in my next video. So in the next video, like I promised from the beginning of this video, we'll be looking at fair value gaps and how to incorporate them into our trading. So I'll make sure that I record that video. I know you've been watching other videos, but maybe you have not paid attention yet, especially on synthetic indices, whether fair value gaps work and other blocks work. So there have been several proofs by people who are using that strategy, SMC or ICT strategy on synthetics, and it's working like myself. It works. So that is it. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye bye.